Who is the most likely to be abducted by an alien?
Honestly, Koji, it's you.
What? No.
They want their family member back.
Right. Well, that's the thing. I think it would be Koji, except he's a little thirsty. You know what I mean? And they'd be like, okay, so...
I was going to say Dwayne.
I'm thinking me. I don't know if I'd be appreciative enough. So I'm going to say Kat only because, like, she's a skeptic, but willing to have her mind changed.
Yeah.
And I think her mind would be more blown. Whereas me, like, I'm just going to freak out. And then...
I think they'll have fun with the freaking out part.
But I'm not sure if I can tell people.
They're trolls. They're like, look at him. He's scared. Oh.
Right. Then I can't tell people because then if people don't believe me...
They'll think you're crazy.
Right. And then I'm going to get mad. And then they're going to think I'm really crazy.
And then you'll kick him in the head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then you go to jail. You're just an angry black man then.
Right. But then in jail, I'll meet other guys who are like, aliens?
So how would I react if I got abducted by an alien? I would be terrified. I would also be very observant. I'd be like, take me back home. And then at some point I'd be like, you know what? The best way for them to take me home is to start praying out loud. And I would do like an exorcism, but not on purpose, more just to annoy them so they take me home.
If you got over your fear and was able to talk to them, you might say, now you guys are pretty advanced, right? And they'd say, yeah, we came here. Can you plant ideas? And they'd say, yeah. And then you'd say, my ex-boyfriend.
See, I thought you were going to say House Republicans or like Donald Trump. That's how you know I'm cured, you guys. I wasn't thinking my ex-boyfriend.
That's really good.
I was thinking politics.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Well, that might be worse.
Uh-oh.
It's more fun when it was ex-boyfriend.
Oh, no.
Right now it's like...
Yeah,
This
but now
podcast
she's
won't be as
thinking
fun.
of things that can help everyone.
Right? Not just myself. See,
Right,
I'm not a narcissist anymore. I'm cured. Welcome to the Unofficial Official Story Podcast. This is episode 4 of season 5. Join us as we dive into the quirky, mysterious, and bizarre. From unsolved mysteries to peculiar pop culture phenomena, we uncover hidden stories and explore alternate realities. My name is Kat. And my last name is Meow Wolf because I went to that museum last week and it was a trip.
I'm Koji, who believes in aliens, but probably would never be abducted by one.
It's a pretty long last name.
That is
It's not going to fit into those forms. And I'm going with Dwayne Stalin because I think Stalin is I think the person they said who, if it's the Soviet angle, he was the head of that. So yeah, Dwayne Stalin.
Okay.
And the name Stalin just invokes fear, which is
Which you like.
I'm going for, yeah.
Being that it's July, we happen upon the anniversary of the Roswell incident that occurred many decades ago with a very interesting question. Were the Roswell aliens really special needs Soviet children? That's messed up, by the way.
Super messed up.
But as messed up as it is, it's not as messed up as the alternative.
That's true.
Which we'll
That's
get
true.
to. Yes.
And this month, we don't have a guest.
We don't.
Because I have to go to a baseball tournament in Hawaii, and we had to record this earlier than we thought. Here's the official story. In July of 1947, in Roswell, New Mexico, one of America's most intriguing alien sightings occurred at a ranch.
Rancher W.W. Mac Brazel was the owner of the ranch that found the wreckage, which included rubber strips, tinfoil, and thick paper, which sounds like someone was just doing a book assignment. But,
Making a
the capital of Utah is Salt Lake City. Sorry. So when he brought it over to a sheriff, the sheriff contacted the commanding officer of the Roswell Army Airfield based on the statement declaring the wreckage to be an alien aircraft, some sort of flying saucer.
By the way, we were mentioning before we started that Roswell is like the place I want to go more than anywhere in the world. And I've made 3 different reservations at 3 different hotels at 3 different times, and I've never made it there.
See, that's the thirstiness I'm talking about.
And the last time I was super sad, which was...
Wait, I thought thirsty. I thought you meant he was going to hit on the aliens. You mean he just wants it too much?
Right. No, no,
he's married. Good God, Koji.
No, not in that sense. Yeah, in the sense that he wants to sort of powwow with them, not like get with them.
Although, to be fair... It's not cheating if it's a different species or the same sex. I think that's the rule.
Okay, interesting. Honestly, I was really just picturing you slapping them all on a butt. Just harassing the aliens. Yeah, they wouldn't want that.
Right. And it's also not cheating. What if they don't have a physical form?
That's true.
And it's just sort of like
then it's
energy blob.
it's emotional cheating.
Right.
The Roswell Daily ran a story about the alien wreckage and included witnesses claiming sightings of alien bodies as well. Later, the government reversed a claim about the aliens and stated that the wreckage was just a weather balloon. Yet in 1994, the government admitted that the weather balloon story was false. The wreckage instead supposedly came from a spy device that was considered classified back in the 1940s. Project Mogul, the reason for the classification, was to hover over the USSR and detect sound waves.
Some years after the government claimed the wreckage to be materials from a spy balloon, the U.S. Air Force published Roswell Report, Case Closed, which explained how the Roswell incident had nothing to do with aliens. In the statements, the alien bodies were described to have just been parachute crash test dummies, a severely injured airman parachute, and charred bodies from an airplane crash in the 1950s. They were all consolidated as one event by witnesses. How do people... Like, that's crazy ideas that they're putting out there. I mean, even if it wasn't true, if it's not aliens, like, how would people, like, mistake dummies for...
Well,
I mean,
you're not going to go that close.
But the thing is, like, if you watch the crash test dummy things of cars, it's not like they're covered in skin-like leather with goo in them. Yeah, they're, like, hard. They're plastic, and they're disjointed. Like, it's very clear what they are.
But from far away and under a certain amount of stress...
But I don't think these people saw it from far away.
Yeah, I think they were right there. They even took the material and took it home and stuff, so they're right there.
But I think there's more than one event, so, like, are the people reporting it also up close?
Yeah.
Yeah, or else how would you know what it was?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't touch a dead body. Okay, once I was on the, I want to say the 5, like where the 118 meets the 5, somewhere around there.
Valencia, like up that way.
Yeah, but like above that,
Yeah.
right? Around Valencia, excuse me. And so I want to say I was coming from the 118. Anyway, it was just like where one highway sort of veers into another, and that's a big thing in California. And I saw what appeared to be a naked woman, or it was either that or like a dummy, a doll.
I can't wait to find out where the story's going.
No, it's really
It's
going
a
nowhere.
corpse.
But it was on the highway, a naked, and I had a friend with me in the car. And I was like, "Did you see that?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I think that was a naked woman." Now it could have been a dummy, but we were going so fast, and we were in the car. Call 911. Tell them, "Hey, I'm not sure. There's something on the highway." And they don't call you back to tell you what it was. I'm hoping it wasn't a naked woman.
This is funny because you know how I give advice to my students every class. One of the pieces of advice is it's never a mannequin. Because they're like,
I've heard that.
Have you ever seen on a true crime? People
It's never
always
a
like
mannequin.
they're walking in a culvert and they're like, "Oh, we're walking and we saw a mannequin," and then it turned out to be a dead body. I'm like, it's never.
Why
a
would there be a mannequin?
Yeah, it's a dead body.
like who's carrying the mannequins around while they hike? Like, is it? Do we picture like a giant like truck full of mannequins, but not like a closed truck, like an open ceiling truck, and then there has to be a strong wind, and the truck just blows the mannequins into the ditch?
Yeah.
What? None of this
true.
makes
That's
sense.
true. I mean, this was a highway,
So it could have fallen.
That actually, yeah.
moving.
But it probably wasn't a mannequin. It's probably a person. Why did
Because
you?
if
Why
you're
did you stop?
transporting mannequins, why would it be in an open
I
air
wasn't in
truck?
a place to stop. It was a highway. It was like the interchange, but like
You could stop and turn around.
no. It's one way.
No, because it's the highway. It's the freeway.
And also, there's no shoulder at that point. It's
You could
just-
take an exit and then loop back around and then drive past again.
I wanted to just not really know. I wanted to just call. I did my part in this. You know what I mean?
If there's an accident in front of you, do you stop and help the people? If there's like a big accident, or
If
do you
I'm
just
like
keep driving?
First person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might help. Like I saw a motorcycle hit another car once. I think he was okay, but it was crazy, like right in front of me. So we all stopped. I didn't take lead, but I did get out. And
You're like, are you gonna go?
But with that said, I love people. I'm not like callous or anything. But when people try to like pull at my heartstrings or make me feel guilty or make just whatever that thing is, and I think I'm superhuman. We'll get to that later. But when people do that, I always tell them, "Hey man, I can watch you die and eat a burger." So just know that's who I am. I'm not even sure if that's true. I've never done that, obviously, but I don't want them to know. Like, don't try to manipulate me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
there are always car accidents on the street up here because there's like so many people that drive so fast, and then there's always like big accidents. And so my wife always makes fun of me because all of a sudden you'll hear this big crash, and then you'll see me running from here. Like she'll see me run by the window, and I'll go help people.
Is
and
that right?
Yeah, the last time
That's pretty good.
Yeah, last time I was a pregnant lady, and she just crashed into my neighbor's house. So you know I have that big wall. The reason we put a big wall is there because there's crashes constantly on this street, and so like it crashed into somebody in one of my neighbor's house, and there's this pregnant lady, and her whole car went into the person's house, and then I helped her out, and I got her shoes, and I was like helping her, and then they had dogs in there, and then I was trying to get the dog out.
Were they home?
I don't know. I don't remember if they're home or not. But then they And then the dog bit me, which I was angry about, but it was a little dog. And I think I was scared because it was like everything was crushed around us. I was trying to get the dog, but it's fine. It was just a little bite. But it happens all the time here. So I would go. I think it's fun. And then it was the best part was one of my neighbors. She thinks I'm really nosy, which I am. And she's like taking pictures of me helping somebody.
Is that right?
Because I like all I know.
So you might be in the, can I say the town you live in?
Yeah, South Pasadena.
Yeah, you might be in the South Pasadena Gazette or something like that. Some skeptics believed the government's interference was just a cover story. Donald Schmidt, a UFO researcher, argued that a UFO cover story would draw more attention to such a classified project.
That's a good point.
So wait, so the point he's saying is that
If
it's like you usually don't cover something up
with something that would make more publicity for the thing that you're trying to hide.
So the fact that they let it be a UFO thing is indication that it is.
That actually was a UFO
They usually
thing.
would say it's this other thing.
Yeah. But if the cover story is a UFO story about something that wasn't a UFO, then they're bringing more attention to something that wouldn't cause any kind of...
I see.
Well,
I see.
what would they have said otherwise besides UFO or besides telling
weather
the truth?
balloon.
Weather balloon. But
So it wasn't weather balloon, it was the spy thing. So yeah, they should have said weather balloon.
they said weather balloon.
But after it had already come out that it was a UFO.
But they kind of let people think UFO.
Correct.
And when they could have just said we were testing something.
Yeah.
And it's not like people are going to be like, well, what the hell are you testing?
Yeah, especially back then. People were more trusting of the government. So.
That's true. That's true.
As time went on, some theories were speculated, like the involvement of the Soviet Union. An anonymous source from Area 51 claimed Joseph Stalin recruited Joseph Mengele to surgically or biologically deform children. The speculated scheme was that the children would then be deployed on aircraft over New Mexico. Witnessing children climbing out, people would spread fear of what they believed to be aliens.
I just think it's funny that this is like what's the rule that the moment you bring up Nazis, your argument is over? Right. This is like the Nazi, like right when the Nazi argument came out.
I know, but this is also right around the time where governments were scrambling to like get Nazi scientists.
That's true.
Right. So like everyone had to have a few.
Oh no, Europeans are scrambling to get U.S. scientists. That's not a good sign.
No, but this was the Nazis after the war. There were like a lot of Nazis, like they came here they worked on the
The Manhattan Project
Manhattan
and
Project,
stuff.
but also like our rocket program was basically the Nazis.
Yeah, I also heard a lot of our medical, all the things that they base modern medicine on are unfortunately from like
The Nazi
Nazi
experience.
experiments.
Yeah, but the thing that really kind of bums me out about that is that why would you have to alter the children? Like, you could put them in some sort of uniform or just let them be children and people would be like, aliens are like children. Like,
But
you
it's
don't
more,
need to-
but it's more scary if they look deformed.
Yeah, but like, how would you
but now
deform
you
them and
have
have
to-
them be okay? Because anytime you have a surgery, like even plastic surgery, it takes like weeks and weeks for them to get better. And imagine like doing that much surgery on people, they would end up like dead.
But all
And
you're
then
gonna
they'd
do
have
is
dead
just
people.
Cut their hair off and then
Put a mask on
alter their
them?
face.
Or-
What if they made it like smile and they made him like have a big smile? That would be scary.
But what I will say about Joseph Stalin is he did like cut off grain and food to a whole portion of the Soviet Union, which I believe is like Ukraine.
I mean, he killed more people than Hitler. He wasn't a good person. in
He
general.
would not hesitate to deform
Did
a
he
bunch
kill
of
more
children.
people than Mao? Do you think Mao killed a lot of people?
I think Stalin killed more people.
Oh,
wow.
yeah.
But can I tell you a funny Stalin story? So, this is funny. So when he was convinced that Hitler would not invade, right, after they made the deal during World War II. And so when Hitler invaded, right, and when he came east, he was like devastated for 2 days. Like he just didn't, like all his generals, all his advisors were like,
Told you so.
Hitler's going to invade, Hitler's going to invade. So the reason he didn't do anything for 2 days was because he assumed that somebody was going to kill him. Because all he could think was, if it was me
I would
and the leader
kill me.
Yeah, the leader like just fucked up that bad, I would kill that guy. And so he just like sat around being like, who's going to kill me? And then when nobody did, he just kept going.
Right, but then that probably made him even worse.
I mean, he was already terrible, but
yeah.
It made him worse for sure.
In 1938, the world saw the broadcast War of the Worlds by Orson Welles, which was an adaptation of an H.G. Wells novel. Mass hysteria spread amongst listeners as they came to believe the detailed alien invasion depicted in the broadcast. The theory surrounding the Roswell incident was that Stalin aimed to replicate the chaos and cause panic, thereby exploiting it to his advantage against the U.S. The subsequent actions of the U.S. government were to cover up the gruesome Soviet program.
All right, it's time to put our thinking caps on. Were the Roswell aliens really special needs Soviet children or biologically deformed Soviet children? When we return, we'll settle this once and for all and figure out what really maybe happened.
Now that we've reviewed the evidence, let's give our theories.
All right, I'll go first. The theory is close, but it's not completely right. It's not Soviet children. They're Japanese children from the World War II. So there was a balloon program that Japan did have that was intended to go over, and there were balloons that fell down in the United States, hot air balloons. But it was a balloon that they'd sent in like end of the war, and it was up there for like years, couple years.
So they lost it or something.
Because by then there was no Japanese children left. Or there's no soldiers with children. So they weren't deformed. They weren't special needs. They were just regular Japanese children. And then when they crashed, they were like, those are aliens. But they mistook the aliens. Like, they thought aliens.
Oh, because they'd never seen a Japanese person.
Well, also, they're technically aliens, right? They're not from the country.
Oh, okay.
And then the press just messed up with it and went with aliens from outer space when they're just really aliens. Like non-American citizens.
That actually sounds really plausible, honestly. So people are that racist. And also back then, like, you didn't have TV. How would people have seen, or very little TV? People on TV were mostly like white people, and they thought an accurate depiction of Asian people was like from Breakfast at Tiffany's when it was Mickey Rooney or whatever.
Yeah.
Pops up and
I think
it's
that
all
was
like
a little bit later, but yeah.
Weirdly deformed pretend Asian guy. So offensive. My theory, I'll just go ahead. It's very similar to Koji's. I think they were Asian, probably Japanese. But I don't think they were just like regular Japanese children. I think that they like full on sought out the weirdest looking Japanese children. I mean, look, every race has ugly people. And so they found like really bizarre looking kids. And they just like took them away from the families. Like, hey, you don't want this one anyway. And it was a time where people would be like, you're right, I don't. Back then was really messed up.
And they just put them in
And they put them in the balloon, to be like spies. And then they sent them to scare people and freak them out.
Wow, our theories are very close.
Yeah, you said yours first.
So you're saying it was Japanese.
Regular Japanese.
And you're saying, but who was the perpetrator in each? Yours, it was a Japanese balloon.
Soldiers.
Yours, was it the Japanese who perpetrated it, or they just used Japanese children? Was it?
I think it was the Soviet Union using Japanese children.
Oh, okay. So that's the difference.
That's the difference, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What's your theory, Dwayne?
I mean, this is a tough one. I mean...
And I think the children were kidnapped, honestly.
Okay.
Right.
Not just like spot.
The crazy thing is, it's like just the human condition, and people can be so... with the things people can justify are outrageous. But I think what happened was, because there was more than one of these occurrences, so I believe one was aliens. And I don't know if that's the first one or at some point.
That aliens were real. It was really an alien spaceship.
Yes,
Yeah.
at some point. But then, because there were several, the others were U.S. things that we did to cover up the alien thing. And we like to think they found people who were deformed, as opposed to deforming them, you know.
Okay.
Honestly, though, like not to, how do I put this without being offensive? We're talking about people who look different. I know I said ugly, but what I really mean is people who look different than normal. And that could be special needs children. And in no way am I calling them ugly, right? If we define that as really just not being standard.
Right.
So I think my theory is the theory. It is the conspiracy, and I believe it.
I think the U.S. was planning to, whatever we were trying, I think it was like twofold. We wanted to do something that we could infiltrate. That's what they're saying now, is after all these years, they're saying that the official story is it was stuff we were developing to spy on Russia, to test to spy on their nuclear program. I think there was some of that, but I also think chaos and confusion is how you neutralize anything. You make it stupid. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't just deny it. You do it again and again, and the subsequent ones are clearly not the thing. So people will not believe the first thing as well.
So you believe that it actually happened?
So it's gaslighting.
Yeah, right. So one of them was an alien thing, and it could be the very first occurrence, or it could be subsequent. Like, at some point, the U.S. was like, we're doing this testing. The alien thing, it was fortunate because probably we got new technology, but also it's almost like what that UFO guy said. We covered it up by doing more that were ridiculous.
You know what? That's like if a guy and his girlfriend are together and then like his phone dies for a couple hours and they're like, yeah, wow, your phone dies really easily. And then he's like, I could cover up cheating by just being like, oh, my phone died.
Well, also, he's got to like have his phone die a lot.
Yeah.
So
he
now
just
he's gotta,
keeps
like-
on dying, and so he just has an affair.
Right. At night, he's got to like fake like he's plugging it in. The next morning, it dies in front of you. This fucking phone. Nah.
Interesting.
Deception.
Well, have you guys ever seen the documentary called Independence Day? That was like the first time they found aliens.
You know, it's crazy. I read an article. I don't know if it was one of the ones in our research, but it's from University of North Texas. Has a whole bunch of one on this. And one of the things that it linked to was a former Soviet like engineer or someone in the space program, and they were asking him about it. And he called Men in Black a documentary. He was joking, but not joking. You know what I mean?
Well, I heard the Men in Black were real. They were just different from what they were in the movie. The Men in Black were these FBI agents who, when people would see the UFOs, would go to your house and be like,
Well,
you didn't see the UFO.
But there's also like that's part of the conspiracy. But there's also another conspiracy where the Men in Black are not human.
Oh.
There's like a conspiracy that Men in Black are like these like very strange, pale-looking people who like have like kind of special powers. That they're like. So some people think that they're like government FBI, and then there's other people that think that they're like.
I think they're from the
otherworldly.
future.
Right. It's another example. I think if people, just to make sure people really get what I'm saying, at least is like if you are driving with drugs over the border, which you should never do, and like you're driving and you see like there's extra security at the border, right? It could be the U.S. border, U.S. Canada, or U.S. Mexico, and you do a U-turn, they're coming right after you, right? So
or braking when you see a cop or something. Yeah.
What a lot of the cartels do is they actually send either like they might send a little drugs here that they know will get caught, so all these other drugs can get through, or you might even have a car with absolutely no drugs in it
That does something illegal.
something suspicious. Now all the resources go to that car because if it's the border, like you can have one car go ahead by 10 miles, another car behind it to do something crazy. Hey, security is extra. Okay, I'll go up, do a UE, and maybe you have like a joint in the car or something. So now they're dealing with you. Meanwhile, 10 miles behind that, the guy with the drugs is like, 10 and 2 or whatever now, 3 and 5 because of airbags. And just boop, boop, boop. You know what I mean? So I think that's what the U.S. government did. It just sort of like mucked it up a bit.
So it really happened. They're just mucking it up. But was it aliens or was it Soviet?
So do we think that maybe like they were doing other experiments elsewhere and they had the Roswell incident to distract from the ones elsewhere? Is that what you're saying?
Right, but I'm thinking at Roswell, some alien stuff happened as well. And they covered it up by doing more alien stuff that was fake.
Oh, got it.
Okay,
Which
so
is
it's a
why,
combination, cover up and real
the guy
fake.
finds these things. Like, aliens not going to come from outer space and it's tinfoil. Like,
Yeah.
whatever ship you make that's going to come here from another planet, it won't be tinfoil, right? It won't look like a book report. So maybe even before that, because the sightings started happening. So I just think the U.S. was like, we need to just
Roll with it.
Yeah.
make it so confusing that, and did they deform people? I hope they didn't. But that's, yeah. I mean, I've thought about it. I mean, it could be a Soviet thing too. That kind of does make sense. But I think it's more fun if it's like we did it ourselves to hide the fact that there was aliens.
Interesting.
Yeah.
One thing I will mention that I think is really interesting about aliens, and I do a lot of alien stuff, right? I go to UFO conventions and do all this. But one of the things that's really fascinating to me is that the perception of the alien spacecraft changes over time. Like, and it's how it's based on popular culture. So people will see like a round alien ship or like when you're talking about tinfoil, that's how they imagined it back then. So that's how they would see it.
Right.
So people started seeing round ships, and then people started seeing like triangle shaped ships, and now other things. So it's kind of interesting that how we perceive of these alien ships is so much based on what we think that they are like and how they're portrayed in our popular media. So I don't know if it's the popular media affecting how we see the ship or the other way, vice versa.
Right, exactly.
But it's also the aliens themselves, right? It wasn't until Communion, which is a famous book by Wesley Stryber about an alien abduction. He's like one of the most famous alien abduction cases. On his book cover, there was a gray. And from that moment on, everyone saw gray aliens.
Right.
But before that, nobody really saw gray aliens, right? They saw different kinds of aliens. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know. I think I always found that to be really interesting.
I do too. But look at the stealth bomber, like things that can't be detected by radar are flatter
And triangular.
darker. Yeah. So they could have been testing, but maybe they were testing because
They got it
to
from aliens.
replicate what they already got their hands on.
All right.
Well, it's time for us to pick the unofficial official story, one that will answer this question once and for all. So, Which theory do we want to go with today?
I mean, I think it has to be the Japanese theory. I mean, we both had Japanese people.
Right. I like the Japanese theory, but with Koji slant that it was the Japanese.
But why would it be the Japanese?
Because if they sent it before the end of the war, and it was just sort of I don't know how long a balloon can float around.
Not 2 years, that's for sure.
Right.
1947.
Yeah, so...
Or 1 year.
Oh, 1 year. Yeah, 1 year is possible, though.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably not.
No, at that point, like if they had launched it before the war ended, they would be dead. Like everybody on this aircraft would not be alive anymore.
They were all dead, though.
Right, that's the thing. They were all
But
dead.
from the crash or from before the crash?
That's true.
I guess it depends on how long. You were saying it was some sort of hot air balloon?
Yeah, like a spy balloon.
Because like the way when you see the pictures of the aliens, they don't look like super decayed or whatever. Like if they were floating around dead for a long time, they would be like desiccated.
But Asians look good for a while. So
I don't think that means when they die.
That's an interesting wrinkle. So unless are we saying Japan wouldn't have done it because they had already surrendered?
The war was done. Why would they keep going? That's why I think it was still. Like it had to be someone who was still actively doing war stuff.
Well, that's a good point. And Russia's big enough.
Or Soviet
Part of it is.
And they could easily
Part
have
of it
just
is in
gone to
Asia.
Japan or even China. Probably China.
Oh, so you're
Probably
saying all Chinese and Japanese look alike?
No, I'm saying that
we
you
kinda
can
do. That's
find
fine.
people who look very different, right? From standard white people in Asia. And then if you even find people who are exceptional to even Asia, then...
And Asians are
use
shorter.
those.
This is tough. And we don't have a guest to break the tiebreaker.
Well, there's three of us, so actually.
So yeah, I'm going to go with...
I'm going with cats as well.
I'm going with cats. Yes. Yeah. I was going to go with yours, but then I think the whole end of the war thing is... Yeah.
But yours is a good one, too. This is a happy family. I commend both of you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's these kind of things you just don't know. I don't know. It's just weird. Like when you think of like the Cold War and like just the extent, the lengths that both countries would go to.
Yeah.
When like one is kind of pushing freedom, one is pushing equality, but they're kind of like both just doing
Freedom in quotes. Because remember, black people couldn't even
one is
use the same bathroom.
freedom, but like we're calling capitalism freedom,
Yeah.
democracy. And I never understood why you can have a communist society and still vote. You can vote on who controls the
Well,
resources.
communism is a form of economy, not a form of government.
Right. But we treat that as a form of government, and we treat they like sort of conflate the two things.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I guess it's on purpose because they're so similar.
Yeah,
Just
well,
one is-
most communist countries are totalitarian or dictator.
Right. And I'm saying
right?
it doesn't have to be, right? You can still have a vote.
Correct.
And just the resources are controlled by the government. And you vote on who's sort of running the show. That makes more sense. I guess that's more closer
It's more
to
like socialism.
Yeah.
More like Europe and stuff. To put this in perspective of historical, I mean, this is an interesting time because in 1947, late 40s, the United States was the only country that had nuclear weapons. So we were the only country, I mean, for truly one time in the world, there was one country that was by far the most powerful country that could destroy anything that they wanted. So, I mean, so the Soviet Union would be very sensitive at that point to try to bring down the United States because we're the only superpower at that time. Soviet Union, I think they get the bomb in 49. So it's a couple years before that. To America's credit, we didn't try to take over the whole world in the way that other countries before that would have, because we were literally the only country that had a nuclear weapon. I mean, we could have gone and, hey, we're taking over England.
We could have
Well,
done
look,
what
we
Hitler
didn't
wanted to do.
explicitly take over the world, but if you look at what they did in Latin America, we
correct.
were doing stuff.
But I'm saying they could have walked
just
in. They could have walked into every country and taken over. But they did the influence thing, obviously.
Yeah.
But they didn't do the literal taking over the world,
Right.
which
Yeah.
they could have.
And we had bases all over Germany and
Yeah.
Japan.
We were like the nicest taking over the world people because we
Correct.
didn't disrupt their cultures. We were
Right.
like, no, you could still be Brazilian. We just have a base here.
Because we wanted to take over the economy of everywhere.
And put them in debt. Like that book that you didn't have me read, but you told me about the Economic Hitman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's a really good
interesting.
book.
Yeah.
And that, you guys, my theory, is the official story. We'll take another break and we'll pretend we've all been abducted.
Since we discussed the Roswell incident, let's ask this. For what reason would an alien most likely abduct you?
My jokes.
That's good. That's really good. You ready for mine? I think you're gonna be surprised.
Okay.
I think an alien would abduct me because I might be an alien. And I know I'm the least likely.
I see it. No.
Right. It's like that Terminator movie. There's one Terminator that I have not seen from beginning to end. I think it's the fourth one, maybe.
This is the first I've learned there was a fourth Terminator. I thought there was Terminator 1 and Terminator 2.
There's been a lot.
Oh, man.
No, there's like
5.
Yeah, there's a few, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because there's one where I need to double back and look at it. I've only seen the ending, which is kind of. But basically, there's a guy who's fighting for the humans, fighting for the resistance, I guess you'd call that. And then at the end, he finds out he himself is a robot. And he's like really bummed out because he thought he was human the whole time. And sometimes I do feel like I could be either a robot or an alien. Only because I think what we kind of redefine what it means to be human. And it's sort of like, I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything like that, but, you know, I strive for a certain thing. And so many people nowadays, I'm like, if they're human, then maybe I'm something else. Because I think people are so like easy to give into like whatever their desires are. And everyone's like feeding into their trauma and like, what's your trauma and relishing in it to the point of like, is the human condition that fragile? And if it is, maybe I haven't been human this whole time, you know.
So they're bringing you back. They're bringing you back then.
They're bringing me back. And it was like, it was all an experiment. That's why there were so many suckers, because you wasn't really one of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I have a few friends like that. Even you, Koji, and Kat, I don't know as well. But, I mean, people who just sort of like so solid in this world of like, we're just moving toward not being solid. You know what I mean? Mm. And so like...
I think it was worse before.
And like you have religion. Mm-hmm. If you have religion and you stick to it, that's almost robotic now, because everyone is just looking for a reason to just switch up their whole code of everything and whatever they said they were about, and then one bout of anything, and it's like, oh well. So I don't know. It just seems like, what does it mean to be human? Because I thought humanity, like we're above the other animals, but now it seems like more and more we're not really.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's why maybe I'm an alien.
Yeah.
The other answer was a joke answer. Mm-hmm. And now thinking about yours, I think there's a lot of people who are being actively taken and turned into aliens, because there's a lot of people right now who are sociopaths. And it used to be that it was like only like 2% of the world is sociopath. And now we've got people all over the country, if not world, who don't care that people are being basically kidnapped by unmarked cars from people without badges who are wearing masks. And they're just being taken off the streets, sometimes U.S. citizens, and taken to God knows where. And their families can't find them. And there's people in this country who hear about something like that, or who hear about alligator Alcatraz, and they laugh and they buy merch. Oh, or when we caught fire in Los Angeles in January and people were cheering it on. I think all these people have been abducted by aliens. I think they've been reprogrammed to be sociopaths who have no empathy for other people.
That's interesting. So maybe they've become aliens and I'm actually human.
You're still human.
I like
You're
to
still
think
human.
of it like that.
And I think I'm also still human. I think everybody who has empathy for others still is still human, because we feel feelings. Like we look at another human and you feel a mirror reaction.
Right.
For me, they want my sperm.
What's your sperm?
They want my sperm. So I
did not see that coming.
I have
boy.
I have really good sperm. I during college years, I donated a ton. This is why I never do 24andMe or 22andMe or whatever that is, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of children of mine. Because how many Asian people sperm is there? Asian American sperm is there? So I was that. And then they did a whole chromosome check when you give sperm. They do the whole chromosome thing, and I had really great chromosomes. So that's why my children never had any problems. It's not me. It's the wife. And so I know the aliens probably have that information.
Interesting.
And
They're probably the ones who bought 23.
And so they probably want more Asian children, which is...
Don't you think they have cloning technology or something?
No, but Asians are aliens.
Oh,
so
they
need my sperm.
Maybe they need you to sort of repopulate the whole planet, that kind of thing?
So this is what, if I was dating, I would tell everybody, let's just make more aliens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what it is. They want my sperm.
They want your sperm. That's crazy.
To make human-alien hybrids.
Yeah. That's what every Hapa or half Asian is.
If you happen to be taking a Norwegian cruise on the Norwegian Bliss, starting in Seattle, going to Alaska, I'm going to see you. But otherwise, in September, I have shows coming up in Addison, which is near Dallas, Texas, TK's. So take a look for that.
If you are in Sydney, Australia, and you're
Whoa.
listening to this, I will be there in September for Sydney Fringe, I believe on the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Congrats. That's amazing.
Thank you. I'm really excited. Got a lot of tickets to sell, so please buy the tickets. Yeah, just go onto the Sydney Fringe website after July 7th, so you're going to hear this after that. They're available to buy. Just look my name up, Kat Alvarado. The show will come up. It's called Tradwife.
Tradwife. That's fun.
Tradwife. Yeah, so, yeah, Sydney, come see me.
That's amazing. Have you been before?
I've never been.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Sydney's great.
excited.
I love
It's
Sydney.
the week of my mom's birthday, though, and so she's going to be so mad.
Right. You can celebrate it before or after, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe we'll plan a surprise party for her and be like, oh my God, look at that. We already did it.
Right.
So my socials, Cat Alvarado Comedy on Instagram and TikTok. That's CATALVARADO Comedy. And you can find my album / hour special on YouTube and Spotify. It's called Off-White. And just like my other show, Tradwife, it has a dash in it. I don't know why I like hyphenated things.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I like that your name is also a really popular street in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Alvarado.
Alvarado, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say Cat Alvarado. What street is this?
And I'm Dwayne Perkins on Instagram and Facebook and Funny DP on X, even though I don't really use X too much. But yeah, those are my socials, and my specials are all streaming if you type in my name. But spell it correctly, because there's another guy who's not me.
And then I'm K-Sakai1, and I've been losing a ton of followers because of the whole. I've been posting about my family and incarceration and what's going on now. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't need those people anyway.
You're losing people just because you're posting the truth? That's crazy.
Yeah, because I had people tell me that what happened to my family didn't happen in World War II. And I'm like,
what?
And then I've had people telling me,
Wait,
this.
they don't think the camps happened?
Yeah, people don't think that.
We truly appreciate your support and enthusiasm for our quirky, mysterious, and fun-filled journey. Your curiosity and engagement make the podcast a joy to create. Stay tuned for more intriguing stories, and remember to share, subscribe, and leave a review. Until next time, keep wondering and stay unofficially official.
In the next episode, we'll be asking the question, is Wayfair secretly sex trafficking kids?
Oh, God.
Good Lord.
No.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that furniture?
Yeah,
It's
they said like
okay.
they're like either in the furniture or like there's certain furniture
In the
things.
furniture?
because they have names like,
Yeah, like
Jennifer,
Amber. Yeah.
Wait,
But then like
alive
what's
in the
IKEA?
furniture?
No,
This is
I think they're made from.
this is really bananas.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.